Welcome back to the EV Geek podcast. I'm your host, Joel, and in today's episode, we're diving into the world of electric vehicles and the pivotal role that home chargers play in the EV ownership experience. As Car and Driver recently unveiled their 2024 top picks for home electric vehicle chargers. We are here today with Sebastian from Kilowatt Station to discuss the key features, benefits, and considerations for those looking to make the switch to an electric lifestyle. Join us as we explore the cutting-edge technology behind these chargers and how they're shaping the future of transportation right from the comfort of your own home. Let's get charged up. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast today. Sebastian, how are you doing?
I'm good.
All right. What's going on new in your EV life? Anything?
Not really. It's been we went to Memphis last weekend, and so that was fun. Easy peasy trip. Hotel charger worked, wasn't blocked off. So
good. I just got back from DC for 3 days, and I am shocked that once you leave the South, how many electric vehicles are on the road. All around DC, Teslas. I mean, I probably saw 30 Ionic 5s. I mean, it's just weird. It's once you leave the South, how many you see. All right. But this episode, we're not talking about that. We are talking about home EV charging. A few years ago, we gave a review of Car and Driver's best home EV chargers of 2022. Since it's been a while, we thought we would take a look and see what Car and Driver has rated as their best EV home chargers for 2024. Car and Driver breaks their top picks into 3 categories: best overall, best EV home charger on a budget, and best future proofing. I have provided a link to the Car and Driver article for their best reviewed EV chargers in the show notes. As we shift away from gasoline-powered vehicles to EVs, home charging will be crucial in making that transition. Homes will need to be outfitted with EV chargers, and most will require installations from a licensed electrician. As the home EV charging market grows, consumers will need to weigh the cost of choice versus pricing, quality versus pricing. This is why articles such as the one from Car and Driver can help consumers make educated decisions on how to power their electric vehicles at their residence. There are several EV chargers on the market that are cheap but might not be the safest. This is why it is vital to do your research before purchasing any home EV charger. So Sebastian, you charge at home. What are you currently using?
Yeah, so I just use a cheap little 16 amp level 2 charger. So it's 240 volt. But I was using level 1 for the longest time when I bought my car, and I finally decided I would like to wake up to an actual full charge, 80% charge. And so I went ahead and I got a 16, like I said, a 16 amp level 2 charger. It ended up coming in below the cost of the Entergy rebate that they offer, the $250. So ended up actually making like $50 off that deal.
Did you have to do any special wiring or not?
No, it's just a plug. I had a existing wiring already in my carport that was used for something else, so I just changed the plug on it and then just plugged it in.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, we have. I have a the Tesla wall connector here for my Tesla, and then my wife runs a little a 110, 120, whatever it is, outlet into the socket for her EV6, because she only drives about 10, 15 miles a day. That works for her, and I'm not dishing out the money for another install at my house for that. All right. So before we dive into Car and Driver's top picks, let's break down the different levels of EV charging. Some of it we heard us talk about. When people talk about how to charge their EVs, you will hear them use terms like level 1, level 2, and level 3 charging. Level 1 charging uses a standard 120 volt AC electrical outlet to charge. This will give you an output of about 1 to 2, sometimes 3 kilowatts. This is the slowest form of EV charging and could take days to charge your vehicle, let's say from 10 to 80%. Level 2 charging uses 240 volt AC electricity to charge with outputs between 3 and 19 kilowatts per hour. This can charge a mid-sized EV battery overnight pretty easily. Level 3 charging, also referred to as DC fast charging, uses 400 800 volt DC electricity with outputs ranging from 50 to 350 kilowatts. DC fast charging can charge a battery from 10 to 80% in as little as 20 to 30 minutes. A lot of public chargers you see when traveling are DC fast chargers, but are not suggested for home use due to their enormous pricing. For Car and Driver, in their review, they focused on level 2 charging. They also considered some factors when making their decisions, such as household circuit output, charge rate, Wi-Fi connectivity, variants such as hardwiring your EV charging, having a dedicated electrical outlet, and outdoor rating, in case it gets real hot or cold where you live. All these factors were considered when making their choices for best chargers. So without further ado, let's see what Car and Driver rated as their top winners. Are you ready, Sebastian?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so for the category Best Overall Charger, Car and Driver again selected the ChargePoint Home Flex Charger. Tell us a little bit about this one, Sebastian.
Yeah, so everyone's heard of ChargePoint. They're a pretty major player in the public charging space, both level 2 and level 3 charging. And so this one is a 50 amp unit, and it has adjustable output. So if you can adjust it down to 16 amp and then in increments, up to 50, unless you're using the plug-in version, and then your limit is actually 40 amps because it's 80% of a 50 amp circuit. It has a pretty long cord, a built-in cord management, which is nice. And it is one of the more expensive kind of wall units on the market. It's around $550. However, they are currently doing a sale as of the time of this recording. So as of June 18th, they're doing a $60 off coupon when you add it to the cart. So just a note. This one also has Wi-Fi and will tie into the app, and it actually ties into the same ChargePoint app that you would use to activate at a public station. And this app will let you can set your home electricity rate, and it'll actually keep track of like all the energy you've used at home versus in public and how the cost breaks down and everything. And you can, go and pull it up at any time. Charger is also cool in that you can get it with either the J-plug or NAX connector, and they sell replacement cable. So you can also swap it at any time or replace a damaged cable without actually replacing the entire unit.
Pretty cool. Yes, this is a very, stable, ChargePoint is known in the EV charging landscape. So pretty good charger for what it does. And like you said, it is kind of expensive, but it's cool that they have a coupon out right now for it. All right, so for the budget-friendly category, Car and Driver ranked the Emporia EV charger as their top pick. What do you know about this one, Sebastian?
Yeah, so the Emporia is kind of a favorite in the Chevy Bolt Facebook groups that I'm in. That's kind of one everyone recommends, but it's because it's a 48 amp charger when you get it hardwired. Again, plug in, you get limited to 40 amps. But it's a 48 amp charger, and it's, $400. And oftentimes you can find them on sale for even cheaper. It's also has Wi-Fi connectivity that ties into their Emporia app, and they have where you can get Emporia make some home energy monitoring stuff, and they can do some like dynamic load balancing using that home monitoring stuff. It's important to note that requires Wi-Fi to use. It's not offline. It doesn't like directly communicate to the charger. So if you were plugging, and your internet went out, then your load balancing would no longer work. So it's important to note that, because for some places, it has to work offline in order for that to be kind of a justified reason to do that instead of actually upgrading your service panel. But my main gripe with the Emporia, which, I didn't know they had a NAX connector, it looks like in that picture.
Yes, anyway. Looks like Tesla or CCS 1772, J7072, yep.
But my main gripe of the Emporia is, and I think it'll be in one of those pictures, is the way you actually store the charging plug. This little clip that you just kind of stick it up vertically with the connector up in the air is honestly not a great design. There's all that space on that charger. They could have found some way to like have it click in, or even just have it hang down. But I mean, again, that's my only real gripe with it. Otherwise, from what I know, it's a pretty solid, reliable unit.
I'm assuming the clip probably has something to do with the pricing as well. If you want a nicer clip or wire cable management system, you're gonna pay more for that. All right. And finally, for the not for the budget-friendly category, for the future proofing, if you want to install something for the future, maybe you don't have an EV yet, maybe you're looking at getting one, Car and Driver rated the Tesla Universal Wall Connector as their best for future proofing. Thoughts on this one, Sebastian?
Yeah, so it's the Tesla Wall Connector. It's been kind of the solid rock in the EV charging world forever. And then this is just adding some additional features on top of that. So this has kind of a built-in magic dock, if you will, like what they have on their superchargers, where you've got your NAX cable by default, and then there's a little latch you push on the side, and then it pops out with a built-in J1772 adapter. And then when you put it back in, you can just pull it out and have just your NAX cable again. So it's awesome for homes that maybe are a 2 EV house like you have, where one car uses a J plug and one car uses NACS. So to be able to just have the one connector, and then also it uses the Tesla app for, kind of managing the charge. It's another one that you can go up to the 48 or 50 amps on, and then step down depending on, your home energy panel. And it's got a long cable, it's outdoor rated, and it's a pretty compact unit. It's not some big bulky thing you're going to put on your wall, but it's reliable, solid, good support, good built unit.
Yep, and it runs about the same price as the ChargePoint, I believe. Mid fives, 500, 550, 595. Okay, so Car and Driver also gave their impressions on the JuiceBox 40, the Electron 32 amp in the Grizzle, eSmart connected home EV charger, and Electrify America home EV charger. If you click on a link in the Car and Driver article, you can read the full review of these. Any thoughts on these EV chargers?
Yeah, so the JuiceBox 40 is another charger that's been out there forever. You see them in a lot of public places, that have, a lot of times they're just free. You just grab them, plug in. Sometimes you have to scan a QR code and activate. There's a whole thing. Electron charger, I'm not super familiar with. I know of Electron. I know they do a lot of charger stuff. Some of the stuff they do is, maybe in-house, and some of it's maybe not, which nothing that's a bad thing. Just, a note. The Grizzly is made in Canada. We have a friend, Jason. He has one. He loves his. He mentions it pretty frequently.
Yes, he does. He'll tell you about it all the time. I got it for free.
And then you've got the Electrify America home EV charger, which that one, it's probably a pretty solid unit, but from what I remember, it's pretty pricey. And so for me, it'd be hard to pick that over some of the other options we talked about.
Yeah. Looking back at the review I did in 2022, actually, the Grizzly eSmart was actually one of their top rated ones. So it looks like over the years, either it got bumped out a little, something was a little bit better, but they still consider as one of their premier ones as well. If you're interested in learning more about home EV chargers or just charging in general, I would also suggest heading over to the State of Charge YouTube channel. You can find a link to their channel in the show notes. Tom Malogny is one of the leading reviewers for EV home chargers and can provide suggestions based on budget and home environment. He also ranks his top EV chargers based on his personal reviews, and I highly recommend watching all of his videos. So that wraps it up today, giving a look at Car and Driver's top EV home chargers of 2024. I want to thank you for turning into this episode. Thank you, Sebastian, for joining us. And just a reminder, you can find us on YouTube and on all social media outlets by searching the EV Geek podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to be notified when new content drops. And as always, we look forward to reading all your comments. You can also find us on Patreon at patreon.com/EVGeek. Please consider becoming a paid Patreon member to help support and grow our podcast. Thank you for listening, and we will see you again on our next podcast episode. So long, everyone.
Bye.